Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Preeti, and I'm really grateful for you taking the time to be here and bless this space. In this space, we're going to explore soul truth, embodiment, and what it really means to live from our highest frequency, especially now, because I see that more and more people are waking up, questioning old systems, stories, starting to feel that life that they've been living isn't quite right. But in the middle of all that awakening can come a lot of confusion. I see people overwhelmed, even grief. So I decided to create this transmission to offer clarity and grounding, and kind of like a map for what's happening on a soul level. So in this session, we're going to talk about tone, format, and structure. And this is what I call the 3 foundational layers of manifestation. Tone being your soul's frequency, it's your purest signal. Format would be like your soul's original blueprint, the architecture that holds your energy. And then structure. And this is how it all kind of lands in your physical life. Your body, your choices, your embodiment. So this might feel new to you or unfamiliar, or it might feel like a deep remembering. Either way, I want you to know that you're exactly where you need to be. So take a breath, settle into your heart, and let's begin this journey back to your truth. So the first layer of manifestation is tone. And tone is the resonance of creation. It's the original resonance of your soul, the vibrational fingerprint, I guess you could say, of your essence before the world ever touched you, before trauma, before all of this distortion, even before this life. It's the sound of your being as Source dreamed you into this form. But here's the truth that many are just now remembering, is that your tone has been buried. It was cloaked, fragmented, distorted through many, many layers. And not by accident, but by design. The system was built with matrix overlays, like these ancestral miasmas, programming, society programming, to scramble your signal, to blur your frequency, to keep that true tone of yours from coming through. So why, you might ask? Well, because you're a powerful being of light. Your tone is your power. So when your true tone is intact, you become a creator, a harmonizer, a walking key. And if you showed your true power, then their matrix would cease to exist. So that's why all of these fragments and overlays, had to be done. So let's talk a little bit about distortion and the cloaking of tone. So this will break it down and give you a better example of what I'm speaking when I speak tone. So most people are not vibrating from their original tone. They're vibrating from these overlays, beliefs that have been inherited from their families as children, traumas that have been stored in their central nervous system, projections from relationships. We have these fear frequencies from collective programming. So imagine like a crystal bell, for example, designed to ring a certain, divine note. But then someone wraps it in, let's say, gauze. And then someone wraps it in, a lead lining. And then someone else uses like rusty wires. By the time you strike this crystal bell, what comes out is not an original tone. It's like a muffled, distorted noise, maybe not even pleasant sounding. So, and that's what, we're manifesting from, many of us. And it's not from truth, but it's from noise. So often people would think, I can't manifest, I try, nothing comes, because we were distorted. We're trying to manifest from a distorted tone. So I hope that makes a little more sense, and gives you a good explanation of what tone is. So we can talk about like tone versus thought, let's say. And this is why manifestation teachings that begin with positive thinking often don't work. They don't deal with the underlying trauma that's causing this tone. So you can say all the right things. You can think, okay, I'm abundant, I love myself. But if the tone beneath those words carries scarcity, if they carry shame, abandonment, grief, your manifestations cannot come to life. That's what the quantum field hears, is those distorted tones beneath the words that you carry. So the field doesn't respond to your thought, it responds to your resonance, your vibration, the frequency you're emitting. And this is why people sometimes feel stuck, like there's nothing working. That was me. I was often manifesting from a distorted tone, and I couldn't understand why, I wasn't getting, number one, at all what I wanted. In fact, sometimes even the opposite of that, because I had a tone of fear, lack of self-love, that scarcity built in to me from childhood. And until I looked at that and started transmuting these, overlays and these distortions within me, it then started opening up a more clean tone for me to manifest truly what I desired. And it's not your fault. I don't want you to feel blame that, I'm distorted, or, I can't do it, I'm no good. Your tone was hijacked and layered over lifetimes of distortions. How could you have known? How could any of us have known? We've been taught to ignore the tone and fixate on the form, the physical. And that's what we've been doing, externalizing, looking outward rather than inward. Because the truth is, we're the only ones here. You're the only one here. Everyone's a mirror to you, showing you what you need to look at, reflecting back our distortions within. So no one here is to blame. No one's right, no one's wrong. Everyone's exactly where they need to be. And here's the beautiful truth, is that the tone can be remembered. Tone can be reclaimed. You can have all those dreams. It's possible, especially now with these energies, like we've never been in this time, this frequency of these beautiful, gorgeous energies coming in from the Mother and the Father, Source creation. We've never been in this time before in the histories of this planet. So you can have those dreams. It is possible, especially now. So what are some signs of a scrambled tone? Well, you may be operating from a scrambled tone if you notice things like a heavy misalignment in relationships. Like it just keeps reoccurring, especially where you feel unheard, where you feel unseen. Repeating patterns of self-sabotage despite doing the work. A sense of feeling disconnected from your intuition. Your creative flow just doesn't come in. Like you have a persistent feeling that you're not fully you. Something's missing. Like there's a void. Things are muffled. These aren't just emotional or psychological blocks. They're signs that your tone is off frequency and that you're sounding someone else's signal, not your own. Because tone lives in the body. It's not outside of you. Your tone is not gone. It's stored in your body. It's there. It's in your breath. It's in your bones, your womb, your heart. It's in your field, your sound. It remembers, even when your mind forgets. And when you reconnect with it, even for a moment, you become magnetic. You become radiant. You resonate truth. And the world rearranges all around you. Like, think back to when you felt this. I felt this. And it's few and far between. They're fleeting. I've only had a couple of times in my life where I did feel this deep, reconnection. And it was only for maybe 5 or 7 minutes many years ago. But it was like I was radiating. There was truth. It was like nothing can touch you. And I'm sure you've experienced that. That's your truth. That's your true tone. So at this point, I wanted to discuss some signs of a scrambled tone. Give you a bit of a breakdown. So many of us are operating from a scrambled tone. And if you notice one or more of these following patterns that I explain about, you can start to see what's underneath the surface. So the first one is, and many of us have this, is like this chronic misalignment in our relationships. Where we feel unseen, where we're unheard or misunderstood. You might notice like you're the one always giving. You're always one trying to keep the peace. You take on so much for other people so that you can keep the peace and, everything is smooth. And many of us are in this category. So often I find these stem from childhood traumas where the love given to us was conditional, or we had to earn it through affection or approval by being quiet or helpful or invisible, emotionally invisible, some of us. You may carry unconscious beliefs. For example, if I speak my truth, I won't be loved. And this belief becomes part of your tone. So your tone might say something like, I'll stay small, so you'll stay close to me. And that tone attracts partners, friends, colleagues, who reflect the same misalignment. Another example is like repeating patterns of self-sabotage. So even though you've done the inner work, you may still find like you're holding back. You procrastinate, unconsciously destroying what you've built. And I've been there. So it's real. We do this. The root tone here might be something like a fear of success, fear to be seen, to be visible in the world, or unworthiness, which many of us, I feel, carry from earlier life experiences, childhood, most often. So like if your inner child was punished for shining too brightly, your tone may carry like a frequency of it's not safe to succeed. Even if you affirm things like success with your words, your tone may still tell the field, hold back, don't let it land. All of these are traumas that are deep-rooted, and it keeps you in these loops. So another example is like feeling disconnected from your creativity, intuition. And this was me for a large part of my life where I just didn't feel connected to God's source, to our Creator. And creativity was there, but it was distorted. It wasn't satisfying. It was like, okay, this will have to do. So you might feel like your inspiration has been dried up, or that your inner voice isn't there. It sits silent. And this can happen after years of us, self-denying or external validation, where we've learned to trust others' opinions over our own inner knowing, our own inner truth. If we were gaslit, which many of us were, dismissed, invalidated growing up, your tone can carry, I can't trust myself. Creative flow stops not because you're not creative, but because your tone says it's dangerous to express who I am. Another example, sometimes you feel like I'm not fully me. Something's off. You feel like you're wearing a mask, or that you have to wear a mask to fit in, or that your true self is hiding just under the surface. So this is due to inherited patterns. These are the ancestral overlays that I spoke about. The trauma of our ancestors is carried in our bones, literally, in our DNA. It's felt through generations. So you might be carrying your mother's tone of guilt, or your father's tone of anger, or cultural tones of suppression. So if you had to shapeshift to survive, literally, your tone may say, I must adapt to belong. Over time, this clouds your soul signal. These are the distortions I'm talking about, the overlays that don't let our true sound, tone come through. So many have chronic anxiety or restlessness as well. So even in the peaceful moments, you may feel on edge, as if something's always off or about to go wrong. That's your central nervous system, just being cranked up and just, under, lifetimes of stress, trauma. And it comes from trauma imprints. And it's in the nervous system where your tone is always broadcasting, I'm not safe. It could also stem from carrying collective fear. That's a big one. Tuning into external frequencies that aren't yours. And we've had frequencies been fired at us since, birth. From our televisions, there's cell phones now. We see it from newspapers, magazines, everything we read. So remember, these tones aren't you. It's not who you are. They're distortions layered over your truth. Don't be hard on yourself. The real tone, your soul tone, is inside of you. It's still there. It's whole. It's unbroken. You just got to dig a little to get there. And the more you bring awareness to these distortions, the more you begin to soften them, release them, and return to the resonance of who you really are. It's not about fixing, it's about remembering, choosing in every now moment to sound your original note. So now we're going to move on to format. And format is the architecture of energy. So what do I mean by that? So let's begin with something tangible. So imagine you're building a house. So you don't start by just hammering nails and putting the roof on and floor tiles. You start with a blueprint. You bring in an architect, you map it out, you design. Where will the light enter from? How do you want the flow of the home to be? Where does it breathe? Where does the home hold? That blueprint is sacred because it tells matter what to do. It tells the energy how to shape. So the blueprint is to a house, essentially, what format is to your soul. Format's how your soul organizes frequency. So it's the inner geometry of your energy body, your intuitive structure, your gifts, your mission, your rhythms. It's not what you do, it's how your essence wants to be expressed. So your rituals, your voice, movement, light language if you happen to do it. They're all expressions of your soul's format. Some souls format like spirals, expanding, looping, integrating. Others are crystalline, precise, gridded. Some flow like rivers. Some strike like lightning. All of these are natural. None of them are wrong. But here's where the distortion begins. So the distorted formats equal collapsing realities. So just like a building with a faulty blueprint will begin to collapse over time. So when we operate from this distorted format, life begins to kind of fragment. You may have the most beautiful tone, but if the format you're running was inherited, implanted or copied, let's say, from someone else, it just won't hold. You'll feel tired, exhausted after doing your soul work. You'll feel scattered, even though you're clear, burnt out from your offerings. Because that signal is scattered. You're trying to build your soul's cathedral, let's say, on someone else's blueprint. And a lot of us did this in the Matrix, right? We worked for someone else. They were designed this way, to install like these generic, inverted, distorted formats on top of our organic soul. The actual design, the template of our soul. So here's an example of, let's say, an inherited format distortion. For example, let's say a woman becomes a lawyer. It was expected of her in her family. She's good at it, even praised, but deep down, she feels unfulfilled, numb. Every day feels like she's wearing a costume. So in this example, like what's happening is she's running her mother or father's format, not her own. Her soul's true format might have been that of a healer or an artist or something else, but it got overwritten by ancestral programming, societal conditioning. So the impact of this, even if everything looks successful, she may be experiencing chronic fatigue, lack of inspiration, cycles of burnout, because her inner blueprint is not being honored. And I think all of us can attest to this at some point in our lives. So here's another example, like this copy spirituality, copy-paste type of spirituality. Let's say like a starseed man joins a spiritual community and adopts the same type of speech, kind of dresses the same, starts to, his diet changes, maybe he becomes vegan, and all these rituals are done as the group does them. So he starts to doubt his own intuition and feels like he needs to ascend the right way, or else he's doing it wrong. So what's really happening here is he's operating within a borrowed format that was designed for someone else's soul journey. Instead of like activating his own path, he's looping and replicating someone else's format out of fear of being wrong or left behind. And the impacts of this, he may feel like he's stuck in a loop. The spiritual performance rather than truly embodying his soul signature. And he'll struggle to hear his own tone clearly until he sheds this format that's not his. So when you reinstall that original format, your rituals nourish you. Like your creations, they sustain themselves. Your body regenerates. You become magnetic. You start shining. And this is the shift from distorted blueprint to original soul template. And this is where your life starts to flow, stabilize, expand, becomes magical. And this is the work that I do. And this is what I help people do. I guide souls back to their original formats, divine blueprints kind of buried beneath years of programming, trauma, spiritual mimicry. And together we locate what's real, uninstall what's false, and anchor what's true, so that your tone, your gifts, and your soul mission can finally land in a format that holds, that works for you. So this brings us now to the final part of the three, the Trinity, is structure, the embodiment of heaven on earth. So you've done the clearing now, you've remembered the tone, you've reclaimed your format. So now comes the big question, can you hold it? Because without structure, none of it lands. The structure is the container of your light. It's where frequency becomes form. It's your manifestation made physical. It's a part of Ascension journey that's not glamorous. It's not cosmic. It's not galactic. It's earthy. It's physical. It's you in your body, your breath, in your choices. Like I said, it's purely physical. Structure is your things like your nervous system, your circadian rhythm, hydration of your avatar, your ability to say no, your sacred yes, the people you allow in your field, the environments you anchor in. This is where the rubber meets the road, you could say. This is Ascension, and it's in the body. It's physical. So all these people that want to float off and be somewhere else, in another dimension, no. We're ascending the first time ever in the history of the universe in our physical bodies. And the Matrix attacked structure first. Like, let's be real. They didn't just program your mind, it wired its fear into your nervous system. It made this survival a baseline. We've all been there. It made trauma this sort of rite of passage. It made overthinking a mechanism to cope. I was there. I've been all of this. And it served us from our bodies on purpose. Our bodies are sacred technology, literally sacred technology. It's the antenna for your soul. It's the container for your light. And if they can keep you out of your body, then they can block your transmission. And they did. And that's why this stage of ascension is so difficult for many. Because it's where you must land fully into your body and stay there. You don't get to escape into another realm. And believe me, I tried. I did. I tried. Till I realized I need to be in my body and really feel my body and get reacquainted. Because we've been living with all of these distortions and we really, truly didn't even know who we were. So, starseeds and the disconnection from structure, while many of us, especially starseeds, want to be anywhere but here, like I said. We float, we channel, and we tried to escape. We were out of our body most of the time. We were intuitive, but not grounded, untethered, right? Because the body felt too dense, it was too painful. Truth, it was too loud. But here's the truth. Ascension is not about leaving, it's about arriving. And when I finally got that, through, my teachings, through an amazing woman by the name of Ramona Lapin who helped me. Like we all, we're not doing this alone. You're not here to escape the body. You're here to embody divinity in it. And that's the truth. So structure's where you begin to feel. This is where the mind must quiet and your heart must lead. And it's tricky because we've been in our mind our whole lives. And now all of a sudden I'm here saying, nope, you've got to stay heart-centered now. Bring the mind down, settle it into the heart. This is where thinking becomes sensing, where intuition becomes embodiment. Structure is feeling when someone is no longer aligned and releasing them with love, listening to your fatigue. Maybe, taking some time off or restructuring your days so that you have some, quiet time, rest time. Nourishing your avatar with good food, rest, doing things that you love, bringing joy into your world, choosing environments that don't hijack your tone, and building good rituals that hold your energy field. All right, meditation, exercise, connect with nature. That's a big one. Nature is vibrating with so much magic and amazing frequency. Holding the highest tone means letting go. It's the opposite of what we've been taught to do, is hold on, hold on. To hold the highest tone, you must be willing to release everything that can't hold it with you. This means ending relationships, perhaps, maybe even family ties that keep you looping, letting go of friends based on old versions of you. You're growing, you're evolving. Saying no to opportunities that look good but feel misaligned. It's not punishment, it's alignment. This is sovereignty. I know it looks maybe packaged differently than what you expected, but it is sovereignty. It is alignment. It's not punishment. You cannot hold light and carry everyone's shadow. You've done that. It didn't work for you. You can't stabilize in 5D while dragging 3D anchors, having these balls and chains that you're carrying around. Choose resonance. Choose truth. Choose embodiment. Structure is the place of transmutation. This is the field where it all alchemizes. Your trauma becomes fuel. Your pain becomes clarity. Grief becomes gold. Boundaries become portals. And your now presence becomes your true power. This is not the end of the journey. It's the embodiment of the journey. This is where soul becomes flesh, where light walks, sound stabilizes, and you become this living lighthouse in true form. The mind is a receiver. It's not the source. Your mind was never meant to be the center of your knowing. It's a receiver, a translator of frequency into thought. It was designed to process what your body and heart already feel, to serve your soul, to interface with the external world. But in this matrix system, this everything was inverted. It was reversed. We were programmed to live from the neck up, trapped in these loops, overthinking, replaying the same thing over and over again, trying to figure things out from thought alone. While, our bodies were screaming the truth within. I know I didn't listen, but I look back now and it was speaking to me. There was just so much distortion that I couldn't truly hear it. So I lived this too. I was there. I felt it deeply. And I tried to analyze my way into safety, into clarity, into love. But the truth is, the answers are not in the mind. They're in the structure. It's in the sensations, in the field. in like the yes or no of your body, your heart, that little tightening or the opening of your nervous system. That's talking to you, it's speaking to you, your body's always speaking to you. So you don't think your way into sovereignty, you feel your way there. So that brings us to the close of this segment on tone, format, and structure, the sacred architecture of your soul's embodiment. And I hope it offered clarity, resonance, and maybe even a few aha moments as you continue to walk this path of ascension. And if this transmission resonated with you, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and or leave a comment below. I truly welcome all of your reflections. And if you feel called to go deeper or receive direct clarity for your unique path, you're welcome to send me a DM to book a Clarity Cut session. It would be an honor to support you in reclaiming your original blueprint and embodying your highest frequency. So until the next time, keep tuning your soul's true tone and walking in the structure that's been yours all along. Many blessings. Big love all.